Welcome back to our fourth summer drill down, where we take a very short passage from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and we practice our reading skills. Skills such as vocabulary, inference, prediction, explanation, retrieval and summarising or sequencing. The passage I've picked for you today is from chapter 9 and it's on page 103. The text should be coming up now on your screens. Read along with me. Edmund crept up to the arch and looked inside into the courtyard. And there he saw a sight that nearly made his heart stop beating. Just inside the gate, with the moonlight shining on it, stood an enormous lion, crouched as if it were ready to spring. And Edmund stood in the shadow of the arch, afraid to go on and afraid to go back, with his knees knocking together. All the answers to the questions now are from this short passage. So even if we know the rest of the book, we're going to limit our answers to this passage. The first question is to do with vocabulary. And the question asks, find an adjective in the passage that means the same as vast. The word vast. Now you may never have heard that word before. You can still figure out what it means. So it asks for an adjective. Now what is an adjective? It's a word that describes a noun. What's a noun? A person, place or thing. So we're looking for a word in front of a noun that describes it. Let's see if we can find the nouns in this passage. Which of these nouns has got an adjective in front of it, a word that's describing it? There's actually only one in this passage. How is the lion described? It's described as enormous. That is the only adjective in the passage. So enormous must mean vast. Do you see how you figure that out without having any idea what vast meant? You still were able to figure out that it meant enormous. Vast is a fantastic word to use in your own writing. It's very short, it's very easy to spell, and it's a little bit less usual than words like gigantic, enormous, or colossal. So remember that one. Our second question is to do with inference, using clues from the text to figure something out. And the question is, how can we infer that this scene is happening at night? Have a look at the passage and see if you can see the clues that tells us that this is taking place at night. It's the moonlight shining on the lion because the moon is much more visible at night. It's there in the day as well, but we can't see it as clearly. And even though the passage does mention that he's in a shadow and there are more shadows during the day, there are also shadows at night time too, because the sun's light reflecting on the moon does also create shadows. Our third question is to do with prediction. Do you predict that the lion will see Edmund and spring? Why or why not? What do you think? Based on the passage, what do you think is the most likely outcome? Well, you could say yes, because the lion is crouched and ready to spring. So that is possible as a prediction. Or you could say the opposite. You could say, no, the lion won't see him because Edmund's in the shadows and he's already crouched, so he's probably preparing to spring on something else. Remember, we're only basing our answers on this passage of the text, not what we already know about the rest of the story, okay? Our fourth question is to do with explanation. What do the expressions nearly made his heart stop beating and with his knees knocking together tell us about how Edmund is feeling? Have you heard those expressions before? If you haven't heard those expressions before, you can still figure out what they tell us about how Edmund's feeling, because what else does the text tell us about how Edmund is feeling? Afraid. So those two expressions tell us that Edmund is scared. He's afraid. He's so frightened initially that he's frozen, and then he starts shaking, his knees knocking together. Have you actually ever experienced being so scared that you are actually shaking? Your knees do start shaking. It's a real thing. It does happen. See if you notice it next time you're scared. But do you see how if you don't know what an expression means, what a phrase means, and it's to do with something that you do understand, find the thing that you can work out and see if it's a match with the question. Does that make sense? So we knew that Edmund was feeling afraid, therefore we looked at those expressions and thought, okay, those expressions sound like somebody being afraid. Our fifth question is retrieval, going into the passage, finding a word or phrase and just pulling it out as it is. And the question is, where was the lion? Well, where was the lion? Just inside the gate. Yes, it says that the lion was in the courtyard, but it's asking you to pull out one particular phrase that says exactly where the lion is. So you would just pull out just inside the gate. Question 6. Summarise this passage. So summarising is just in a few words saying what happened in the passage, leaving out most of the detail and just saying what is the crux, what's the main thing that happened. So let's start by saying, who's the character? This is quite a good way to think about summarising, to think, who is the character? Where are they? What's the problem? And what's the result of this problem? So if we start by doing that, we could say, who's the character? Edmund. Where is he? Watching from the shadows. What's the problem? He sees a lion crouching, ready to spring. And what happens as a result of it? He's terrified to move. So as he watches from the shadows, Edmund sees a vast crouching lion in the courtyard and he's terrified to move. So a lot of that detail has been left out. That's just the crux of it. Does that make sense? Well done, you. That is your 4th drill down of the book. And I wonder if you've been practising other drill downs of your own with perhaps a different book that you're reading, or maybe you're reading this book for yourself and practising. See if you can make it fun. Maybe ask your sibling to have a go, or do it with somebody else. I really hope by now that you've found a really great meaty book that you're enjoying this summer. You've still got loads of time to pick a book. Perhaps you prefer non-fiction books. Books about real things. Football anthologies, biographies, stories about famous people. It doesn't matter what you read. Find something that interests you and read it. Until the next time.